As you start to get planing, steering starts to change from rig steering to foot steering. And understanding how that works is quite a key developmental step for a windsurfer as you start getting faster and faster and in higher winds and stronger conditions. To recap, good rig steering as you're learning your windsurf is not just forwards and backwards along a line of the board. If you just put the rig forwards and backwards, you're either going to get catapulted, putting the rig forwards, or backwards, stall the board, or use a lot of energy to make the board turn up. It's a diagonal movement. Out and back takes you upwind, leaning the rig out, effectively sheeting out, easing the sail out and back takes you upwind, and the rig going forwards and towards the wind brings you back down. As I start to speed up now, leaning that rig out and back, yes, it makes a bit of difference. Leaning the rig forwards and across, oh yeah, that steers me a bit. But the big bit making the difference is what I do with my heels or toes and which foot I'm using, front foot or back foot. For example, just there I hit a low. So I was pressing through my toes of my front foot to gently bear me away. Now in a bit of a gust, to come back upwind gently, the heel of my front foot is gently bringing me back upwind. Now there's other forces at play, of course. Slightly what I'm doing the rig, like I mentioned. My vision making a huge difference. Keeping the rig extended and away from me. Keeping the power on. Sure, other forces at play. But if I use my front foot to steer, that's how it gradually affects the trim of the board and the direction I'm going. Now on my front foot, very heavy, the toes of my front foot trying to stay on the plane through this lull, staring down to a broad reach. I can see the gust coming. Way! As that gust hit, a drastic change of direction came from my back foot heel. Woo! There's a gap in the wind. My back foot heel makes big changes of direction very quickly. Let's try that again. Driving through the front foot, the toes of my front foot, I should say, taking me downwind. And the heel and the outside edge of that front foot, I'm lifting my toes, I'm still on the front foot. That's giving me that gradual change upwind. Check for some space here. If I stand hard on my back foot, woohoo! It really shoots upwind. And actually I'm way closer to the wind than I think I should be. Too close, in fact. That's probably how I wanted to close. Hope you can hear me. Too close to the wind, as I called it. Backwinded and straight into the water. Let's get myself a try out again. Slightly wet microphone. I think you can still hear me okay. Oh, wow, man. I definitely called that, didn't I? I'm claiming that as a win despite falling in. All that back foot pressure, very hard, very quick, shot me into the wind, which is great at times, but if you keep going directly into the wind like I did, I ended up getting back-winded by my own apparent wind mixing with the gust. So when would we use that back foot pressure? Why would I want to stamp on the back foot hard? Quick turns into the wind. If you want to slam a tack in very quickly, back foot pressure. If you want a tack to go upwind, watching for these gusts, a gusty day here. If I want to go upwind progressively and really drive a long way upwind, which, let's be honest, 9 times out of 10, I don't want to slam in a quick tack. I'm using a tack, not a jibe, because I want to drive upwind hard. I want to get upwind as far as I can, not just slam it round a tack. So if this was me thinking about the tack now, I'm already slightly upwind, checking for space. I've got space, I've put just about a bit of wind. run down to the mast, unhook, and my weight is on the front foot, driving me upwind steadily and long way upwind. And then around the tack quite late. So all of that upwind drive was not off the back foot. The last, let's say, millisecond just before I stepped out to the straps and went around, yeah, I tweaked it just a bit onto the back foot just to make the last few degrees up and through the wind. But most of that drive upwind was on the front foot, keeping the board flat, remembering a flat board is a fast board. To summarise, here we are, driving downwind, dropping off the plane, driving downwind progressively and under control, comes off the front foot, in particular the front toes, driving that board flat. And you can do that in or out of the foot straps. Drive the board progressively downwind, accelerating the board on the front toes. And I'm saying downwind, I don't always mean downwind, I mean away from the wind. So right now I'm slightly upwind. I'm still driving through the front toes to keep the board flat. But I'm feathering between heel and toe to keep it in a straight line. I'm going upwind now. I'm on the outside of my leading foot. My front foot is my right foot. I'm on the heels and the outside of that foot. That's bringing me back upwind and keeping that board flat. I see a gust I like the look of. I'm going to drive off the toes to make the board accelerate. I'm staying committed down low and back. And as I speed up, I might decide I don't like this gust anymore. I'm going to have a fairly quick change of direction. Woo. That was it, off the back foot. And then drive again. Keep me up to speed. Gonna tack. Front hand. Mast. Weight is on the outside of that leading foot, keeping the board flat. All the way into the wind. Little squeeze on the back foot just there. That last millisecond little squeeze just to pop me through the wind. And now I'm waiting to get going. My weight is back on the front foot. Now hopefully this sounds overly simple, because it can't be all of your weight on one foot and then the other foot the whole time. There's a lot of kind of feathering between the two. And I don't want to say 80-20 or 60-10 or anything, but just then for that moment that was all on my front foot, back foot, all my weight. And now I'm a little bit more balanced as I try and keep the board going in a straight line, which is the subtlety that will come, I think. So understanding that back foot will shoot me upwind, and then I can choose between heel and toe on my front foot. I think that's quite a key thing to have the little eureka light bulb moment with your windsurfing. I'm trying to go upwind gently now. My weight is on my front foot, on the outside of my front foot, the heel of my front foot. Trying to get the board slowly upwind. If it won't turn, all my weight's back. There's a quicker turn, yes. And I think to summarise at the end, a good windsurfer doesn't go in a straight line. A windsurfer wiggles and plays and changes direction. There is no specific angle being this is the closest to the wind I can sail. You're going to pinch and nibble. James Richardson, you're going to nibble your way upwind. A little bit too close to the wind, head off it ever so slightly. Oh, I've got some power. I'll nibble that a little bit closer. There's an extra bit of gust and way too close to the wind. Front foot comes back alive again, heads off the wind again. It's an ever-changing front foot, back foot pressure to try and get up closer to the wind or to tease the board away from the wind and speed up. Thanks as always for watching, folks. the elite few that have made it to the end, thanks as always. Don't forget, of course, to hit that subscribe button, share it amongst your windsurfing friends, and leave me a cheeky little comment on the bottom. I'll try my very best to get back to all of them whenever I can. Apologies if I missed them. And thank you. See you next time.